Happening, everyone. James Lynch here doing a quick reaction video to the news that Islam Makhachev will be taking on Garry at UFC 330 main event in Philly. And we also have the women's title fight between Dern and Gillian Robertson for the strawweight title. Not really surprising. There had been rumors about these fights for a while. We finally get a women's title fight booked. It's crazy that it took until August 15th to have a women's title fight booked. But yeah, I don't know what the holdup was. I don't know what the holdup was in announcing this like a while ago. We kind of figured this was going to be the case. I know there was some talk from Islam's camp about, oh, it's not Garry next. We'll see. I mean, it was really him or Michael Morales, I think. This makes sense, though. Garry deserves it, right? He's been on quite the roll, just the one loss there. Gillian Robertson, I'm assuming this is because Weili Zhang, we don't know what she's doing. Is she going to come back down? We haven't heard a peep about her. So this all matchmaking makes total sense. No complaints here. Let's do a quick tale of the tape between these two. Islam coming in 28-1. He's 34 years old, 5'10" with a 70.5-inch reach. Garry, a little bit younger here, 28. 6'3" with a 74.5-inch reach. So Garry going to have the reach advantage. He's also a lot taller in this fight at 6'3" compared to 5'10". And Dern, we'll do a quick tail of the tape. We'll do each fight individually here. So 33 years old for Dern. She's 5'4" with a 63-inch reach. Gillian Robertson is 31 years old, 5'5" with a 63-inch reach. So Dern and Robertson, same reach. It's just that Gillian Robertson's an inch taller. Let's go to this fight first. Obviously, Islam, amazing work in his last fight, winning the title from Jack Della Maddalena. Looked very comfortable in the weight class, not having to cut all that extra weight and worry about that. Looked very good in this matchup. Neutralized JDM. If you want to go look at the stats from that fight, again, I can't show highlights, but the stats tell us a full story here about how he really just shut out Jack Della Maddalena in this one, 30-18 as far as significant strikes. 4 of 4 takedowns. That's all he needed. And again, a very dominant performance here, winning the belt. Garry's going to be a little bit more interesting here. Very smart IQ when it comes to Garry. Knows how to game plan well, knows how to win fights. His last fight was a very solid win over Bilal Muhammad, the former champion. Same sort of thing in that fight. If you look at Garry's stats in that fight, pretty solid overall, right? 72-56 in significant strikes. Attempted 2 takedowns, didn't get any of them. Bilal attempted 7 though. So some good takedown defense from Garry. Actually, if you look at the stats for Garry on his takedown defense, he's got 80% takedown defense. That's going to be tested in this fight. We know Garry's got a ground game as well too, even though he's got just 1 submission. We know that he is fairly good on the ground as far as the defense there too. So that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Islam's going to want to take this to the ground, but Islam's stand-ups come a long way too. We've seen him get some knockout wins as well. He does have 5 to his credit. We saw him, for example, knockout Volkanovski, which was very impressive too, back in 2023. And Islam's resume, very impressive. Even the Moicano fight, you got to give him marks for that fight because that was on 24 hours notice, him getting a new opponent like that. The Poirier win was solid. Volkanovski, 2 wins over Volkanovski. Oliveira was a very dominant win. So yeah, he's looked great. Going to be hard to take out Islam Makhachev. With Garry, again, I talk about the good game planning here. But the thing with Garry that I'll point out here in this fight is that, he's winning fights. He's looking good. Again, he fought a really good power puncher on Carlos Prates. But my thing with Garry is a lot of decisions here. I think his last stoppage win was the Daniel Rodriguez fight, which Rodriguez didn't look that great in that one. Garry doesn't really do that like extra stuff where you're like, okay, maybe, it could be a case of where he's, going out there and finishing these guys, and maybe there's a chance that he could like clip Islam or get a submission. But I think with Garry, it's all about the game plan, and I just don't think he's going to be able to like out game plan Islam. I think Islam's on another level. We've seen upsets this year, so I'm not going to say that Garry can't win this fight. Obviously, a lot of stuff can happen, but I think Islam's got this. I think he looks like a true welterweight. He looks like someone that is very strong in the weight class. Didn't look like he missed a beat there as far as moving up. I think Islam probably takes a decision. The one thing with Garry, to his credit, hasn't been finished. I don't know if Islam will be the guy to do that. Even the Shavkat fight, we've seen Shavkat with a very good finishing ability, wasn't able to do it. Obviously, Shavkat was injured in that fight, and we haven't seen him since. But, that was still a close fight for Garry. So I think probably Islam wins the decision, but I'll do a little bit more. I will do an in-depth breakdown a little bit later here on Early Look and kind of go into the, nuts and bolts and the numbers and all that stuff. So that probably think Islam wins the decision. Is it going to be like a, dominant decision? I don't know about that. I think Garry will put up a good fight, but I am leaning towards Islam. Okay, going over to Dern and Gillian Robertson. Dern has looked great against, the opponents she's fought. She definitely looks like a, much more improved fighter than the one that, got finished by Andrade and Lemos. The stand-ups come a long way. We know the great ground game she has, 8 wins by submission, but she can also get it done by decision as well with 8 to her credit. If you go look at her last couple fights, she's looked good, right? Again, I think she's becoming very well-rounded and not just sort of like a jiu-jitsu girl that we're sort of used to. A lot of strikes in that Janaroba fight, 118 strikes. That's pretty impressive. Ribas as well. That fight there, getting 27 strikes there in the rematch. Lupi Godinez outstruck her in that fight. Godinez has got some stand-up too. I think we're seeing Dern kind of in the prime of her career right now and really putting things together. Jillian Robertson, gets the title shot. Did beat Amanda Lemos in her last fight, a former title challenger. Did finish Marina Rodriguez. Her stand-up's come a long way, but I would say Dern's a better striker, and Dern's certainly better on the ground too. But the thing I look at with Jillian Robertson, the strength of schedule hasn't been that strong. Other than Lemos, Marina Rodriguez has kind of been on her way out. Pinero's not great. Watterson's retired. Polyana Viana, not a great schedule here. And listen, love to, push for the Canadian here, but we go look at her last couple fights and the stats here. Nothing really like to ride home about per se, right? You look at the fight with Amanda Lemos, and Lemos actually outlanded her 42-12. So I just don't think there's an area here that Robertson could get it done. I doubt she submits her. And I think that Robertson deserves this shot, right, with the win streak, but I just think the strength of schedule hasn't been as much as you'd like. So I think Dern can win. I wouldn't be surprised if Dern actually finishes this fight, to be honest. I think there's a possibility here of Dern not knocking her out, but I could see Dern maybe getting a late finish, maybe wearing out Robertson, sort of, winning the stand-up, doing some damage. Didn't get the finish over Verna in that fight. Maybe you lead to a decision, but again, we saw her submit Amanda Ribas. Has Robertson actually been submitted? I don't remember. Let's have a quick look at that. She lost 8 times. She has been submitted 1 time. Who submitted her? I'm trying to remember. Macy Barber. Oh no, that was a TKO. Moira Bueno Silva back in 2018. So not too likely, but I could see Dern getting a finish in this one. As far as odds on this fight, I think Islam will be about... Does he get to be a 5-1 favorite? Probably not because of Garry's record. Maybe he's like minus 330 around there, maybe close to minus 400. I think for Islam, I think as the fight gets closer, Islam, the odds will go up. Obviously, there will be a lot of money on Islam there. So that would be my take sort of on the odds there. Mackenzie Dern Robertson, I think Dern could be about a 3-1 favorite, possibly also a 4-1 favorite. I think the odds on both these fights will be similar. I think there'll be a clear favorite here. Islam being the clear favorite over Garry. Maybe they give Garry some respect because, again, he hasn't been finished. But I still think Islam anywhere from a 3 to 5-1 favorite. Dern, same thing probably. Maybe not as high, maybe not like 5-1, but I think she does get it done again. I think Dern's strength of schedule is a little bit better, but she's also lost before too, and not like terribly long ago either. So yeah, I think Dern gets it done. I think Islam gets it done. I'll do an early look preview on both these fights and let you know kind of which way I'm leaning on that one. But let me know in the comments which way you're leaning on this fight. First and foremost, were these the fight to make? Would you have rather saw Morales get the shot? I'm sure you guys would probably rather see Weili Zhang fight Dern, but if she's not available, who else would be up? So Robertson makes sense. I think the fights make sense, and I think the winners are kind of clear here. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.